Hey everybody, how's it going? Jesse Macaluso here again, and I'm going to demonstrate some things that we don't normally do. So that's going to be uh, the subject of this is just how to relieve some of the pain you have with things we do all the time. So if you remember from another video, or if this is the first time seeing a video like this, if you had your hand in a karate chop shape, you'll notice that the thumb and the first finger come together nicely. They just kind of sit nice together like that. I want you to think of that like that thumb meat being activated. That's a very important part to keep track of on your hand, and not to be too far forward with your thumb. You don't want it free hanging in space. Have it sitting next to your hand like that so you can kind of press on the side of your finger. Think of this with both arms. Now, if you can take that and slowly raise your arms up, but I want you to imagine there's a slight weight on them, so you just have to push up a little bit. This will keep your elbows in, your shoulders down. Just get to a point where you normally would just have your hands up like that. Now I want you to run a sequence on both hands and try to stay stable. Pinky, ring, middle, finger, and then do your pointer finger and thumb. And push forward up with your palms a little bit. And then relax. Breathe in and bring the thumb V's together, that thumb meet, and run the sequence again. And you'll find that when you activate that thumb and aim it towards your pinky, and then pinky, ring, middle, pointer, and push your pointer and thumb up, you will have to keep adjusting your body to raise your arms and to keep them symmetrical. We're so used to not having our arms up that if you were to have your arms up probably for this amount of time, something would be burning and it'd be trying to return home. Every time you feel that your arms want to go down, relax, breathe, and perform that sequence and do that thumb thing. Pull a little bit and then push with your palms. You should very much feel that in your belly if you're doing it properly. And all I'm doing is imagining a little bit of weight. Then I relieve everything, kind of shake everything out. It might want to go to a different spot, just let it. And just keep bringing them up a little bit more if it's comfortable. If you have pain, stop. But I find this sequence, I bring like that thumb V thing together with that karate chop hand, and then I run pinky, ring, middle, pointer, and thumb, and I push with those and my palms up and try to keep everything open. And that loosens up all my shoulders, my belly muscles. There's back muscles that are loosening up. Take a deep breath in, go with the breath, and perform the sequence. I can feel things cracking in my foot and loosening when I do that because of so many times reaching. You don't realize your foot is actually pushing on the ground at such an angle to stop you from leaning forward too much that direction. So every time you've reached out for something with your right hand, and if you're getting tired, the sequence again. Every time you've reached out for something with your right hand, your foot on the right side had to do a little bit of pressure to keep you stable, and the foot on the left side had to do a little bit of movement to keep you stable. You can see how my arms, when I'm not focusing on them, will try to go with what my body normally thinks is home. You'll also feel that burn. Release everything. Bring the thumb in. Aim it at your pinkies on both sides so it's even. And you can see, if you were to rewind the video, I have a much more straight up and down posture. My arms are relatively even in. You really do feel everything evening up when you perform this sequence together on both arms. And like I said, pinky, ring, middle, pointer, and thumb, and you squeeze your pointer and thumb and push with your palms evenly on both sides. And you'll find that your chest will have to come back a little bit, maybe on one side, that you didn't even realize was out of place. But until you feel your body symmetrical, you think you're standing up straight. I highly suggest, if you're a right-handed person, go in front of a mirror, perform an action with your right hand as you always do. Then I want you to try it with your left hand. Look in the mirror and actually try to make it look the same. Is your elbow in the same spot? Is your hand in the same spot? Is your wrist in the same position? I find that I can get much better at things with my left side if I make sure that it feels exactly the same to me as if I was doing it with the right side. I should feel the same activations of muscles. My hand should be just so on both sides. But try standing in front of the mirror and adjusting your body. Put both arms up and see if you're actually in line or if one is a little forward and if one is a little back, and try to adjust it and see what it takes to get there, keeping in mind that you want your body to be symmetrical. Like, say that to it. Return to balance. And you will sort of, if you listen to your body and you don't fight it, if you run that sequence, suck your belly in too. You might notice that things in your foot will start to crack and loosen. I'm almost to the point now where both feet are so loose that they're not sitting like this and hurts to walk on all day, but they've actually begun to open up and they feel more like a hand actually, which is quite odd to feel. But I think this is more probably the natural state of our foot when they're not crammed into these shoes all the time. But think about that, stand in front of a mirror, try those reversals of sides to see if you can copy exactly the same. And if you see what I mean about really trying it and really trying to copy exactly what it looks like, and if that action does indeed become easier for you, I suggest maybe switching your hands that you hold your fork in when you eat and try to get that smooth, but making sure that you're actually symmetrical and that you're not leaning too much to this side, and then you're going to strain yourself. You might think you're on, and you could be off by a centimeter on your shoulders. What if your whole life you've been walking around with this shoulder a little bit forward and this one a little bit back? And it's just so, it's a centimeter, so across your chest you'd barely notice it. But over time your body does notice this, I think. And we have pains and all these muscle sorenesses that I had tons of it all the time, every day. Sciatica, I had, my shoulder always felt loose and limp and would hurt all the time up in the trap there, all the way through the shoulder blade. It just hurt all the time. I was dropping things with my left hand when I would go to pick them up. I was getting numbness in my fingers. All of this is gone just from this this sort of sequence and pretending I'm just kind of pulling on something, barely, a couple grams of force. And when you push with your palms after that pull and extend everything forward, you'll see that tons of things want to open up, or you're clenching a foot on one side you didn't realize you were, so you loosen that up, and all of a sudden your whole leg feels better because of that. But anyway, see if you have any success with this and let me know what you think. Have a good one.